This cup is a mistake. That's no offense to the pretty cup, but it was a mistake. Let me explain. I'm on holiday here in Greece and having a lovely time, but I was walking around town last night and I found myself in a souvenir shop and I had was considering purchasing something as a souvenir. And there was this lovely wooden box with the little jars of seasoning in them. And I had purchased it, but I hadn't. No, let me just back up a step. So I had bought the the box, and I was walking around the store, and I was just feeling this doubt in my being. I was feeling unsure, like should I have bought that? Should I have not? And I was going back and forth in my mind, and I was walking around, and I was every step I felt more insecure about that decision. And I wound up going back to the store thinking, you know what, I'm sick of this doubt. I want to get rid of this doubt. So let me just return it because that will get rid of the doubt. And the man in the store said, no, I'm sorry, you can exchange it for something else, but you can't get your money back. Shit. So fueled from that doubt, it's like, okay, well, then let me exchange it for something else. And oh, right, I had seen this pretty cup that I admired, so let me just take that one. Because part of the doubt was that the other thing was way too bulky and heavy to bring in my already cramped suitcase. So let me bring this cup, which is simpler and also pretty. So I buy the cup. But then, of course, I walk out of the store still with a lot of doubt, but now about the cup. And of course, none of this is about the cup or the box or what I should or shouldn't have bought. Because why I'm telling you this story is because this is what perfectionism does. And this is what insecurity does. It's just from that frequency of insecurity and from that trying to find the right thing to do and thinking there even is a right thing to do, I went back and forth. And the only thing that really happened here is that I didn't pause to really ground myself in what is it that I really want here? What is it that I choose? And can I back myself in the choice that I'm making? So the mistake wasn't about, oh, I should have bought the box, because there is no should. And I get to choose. And would I have loved the box? Yes. And would I probably not have made this video about a mistake with the box? Probably not. It might have been a little easier to just line myself up with the decision, but that's the point. I just needed to ground myself in, okay, why do I want the box? Why is it that I'm hesitating? And can I either let go of my objections or let go of the freaking box? And it's so funny that it was a box, because the actual box is, or really, I mean, what I'm talking about is this metaphorical box that we put ourselves in even thinking and believing that there is such a thing as a right decision, and there is such a thing as what I should or shouldn't be doing. And that is a really human thing, first of all, and it's part of how many of us have just been programmed to do the right thing, to be a good person, be a good girl, do the thing that you're supposed to do, follow the recipe. And this was just my invitation to break loose of all of that, to just break the freaking box, get rid of the freaking box. So in that sense, I like that I got rid of the box and ground myself in the decision. And now I get to just embrace the cup and just view this as a lovely, lovely example that I'm allowed to make mistakes. So while this cup no longer symbolizes, oh, this is what reminds me of my trip to Spain, I'm also going to not let it remind me of, oh, I made the mistake and now I feel bad about the cup. This is what the mind does. Please tell me if you can relate to any of this, because I know it's silly, but I'm just going to let go of the judgment and let go of the, oh, it's so silly though. It's silly. And I can say that without the judgment. I'm just inviting myself to just let all of that go, because it's just an outward expression of an internalized pattern. And that pattern was developed as a way to cope with trauma, as a way to cope with life. And it was a mechanism designed for me to feel okay in the world. And there is nothing wrong with that pattern. There's nothing wrong with perfectionism, and there's nothing wrong with standing in a store and being in such indecision over something simple as buying a cup, because it's not ultimately about something simple, about buying a cup or a box or anything like that. It's not about that. It's about, what do I need in order to feel okay and safe in the world? That's just what the shape of the pattern took in that moment. So why I'm sharing this is that if you run into these kinds of things just like me, then what I'm inviting you to do is to see if you can observe it and just step back and observe the pattern that's underneath it, and see if you can find some understanding for the pattern. Because it's not about like, oh my God, I'm making such a big deal about whether or not to buy a cup. Like, this is ridiculous, and judgment, blah, blah, blah. And judging myself and making myself wrong and feeling small and insecure and pretending that everybody else knows how to make a decision and I don't. It's not about any of that. It's about an outward display of an internalized pattern where I grew up believing that I needed to make the right decision in order to be okay and safe in the world. And there is no judgment about that. So I'm just inviting myself now to let go of the remaining judgment, let go of the idea that I need to make the right decision in order to be safe. I'm feeling into what it feels like to feel safe in the world as I am right now, regardless of the decision that I make in the moment. And let go of the idea that I would have been happier with the box, because carrying that doubt, I probably would have done the same dance inside with that one. And just enjoy what there is to enjoy about the choice that I made. And I can make this into a really pretty cup. I might just be able to drink my favorite tea from it, or put a little plant in it. And I'm going to let it remind me, not of the fact that I made a mistake, but I'm going to let it remind me that I'm free to make any choice. I'm free to support myself in every choice that I make, and that it gives me permission to make mistakes. And having permission to just make mistakes makes less of a big deal out of these decisions. And the less I make a big deal out of those decisions, even the small ones, especially the small ones, because it shows up as a small pattern. But if you can just shift it in the small pattern, it trickles down to the bigger pattern, and you release that too. So what I'm inviting myself to do is, the next time that I'm in any store, or this pattern shows up about a choice that I want to make, whether I'm in a store or want to pick something from the menu, is just to take a moment and ask myself, what do I want? What do I want? And if there are no wrong decisions, if there are no right decisions, and just something that feels good in the moment, that's it. And maybe I can't feel good in any of it in the moment. That's okay too. What if it's just a choice? And what if I can just allow myself to make any choice that I want to make? Because then I ground myself in my own safety. I find security in myself, even when I'm still unsure about a particular decision. I can just find sureness in myself, back myself in the decision no matter what. And then I will naturally gravitate toward the thing that most fuels me, the most excites me, that most nourishes me. And feel so much happier and safer as a result. It makes decision making easier. It makes me breathe easier. It makes me feel safe and secure inside myself. I notice I'm struggling a little bit to tie a neat little bow around this video. So I'm just gonna wrap it up here and enjoy my pretty little cup. I'd love to hear how this resonates with you. I'd love to hear your comments to see if does this relate to you? Does this show up in your world, and how does it show up? And how would you like to respond if you run into this? So let me know in the comments, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.